guys, how are we doing? It's Martin Cliffe here with another video, and I wanted to talk in this video very briefly about my sub-pedal board that I use particularly when I'm writing and occasionally in the studio. This may change, but at the moment it's a very small board. It's a Pedaltrain Nano. There's a slightly awkward camera angle, but it just has 3 pedals on it. And the Big Sky from Strymon and the Ditto X2 from TC Electronic are in the loops of the 2 amps, which is the main reason I don't use it live, because it requires carrying around 4 extra cables. It's a bit of a faff. Then the Proton from 3-Leaf Audio, which is the kind of Garcia-esque envelope filter, plugs into the Audrey box on my big pedal board, which is an Audition box. Basically it's a simple switch that if nothing's plugged in, the signal goes from the in to the out, and if something's plugged into the send and return, it interrupts that and sends it to whatever is in there. So it's a great way of just plugging in an extra pedal to test it, or whatever. But in this case I've got the envelope filter in. I can't remember exactly where in the chain it comes, which is a little remiss of me. I know it's before the Mobius and I know it's after the drives, but exactly where it is I don't know. Somewhere either side of the Koji comp. But anyway, if it's just a that's just a little kind of quacky effect. If I turn everything else off, yeah. So the harder you pick, the more open it gets. And as the volume sort of goes off, it closes the signal down. It's like a wah-wah, except it responds to picking dynamics. Now it's marketed as a bass effect, but it's the closest of the 4 envelope filters that I have to sounding how I want it to sound on guitar. So, using it on guitar. I just have it set, as you can see, with the top 2 knobs at kind of between 9:30 and 10, the decay knob at 1 o'clock, and the tone is about 11 o'clock. And never touch it, just turn it on and off. It's got a lovely soft switch, so it doesn't need a barefoot button. You sort of breathe on it and it turns on and off, which is great. So that's, I'm going to guess it's after the Koji comp, but it's so long since I wired my board up. In real terms, I've done a lot of travelling, I'm jet lagged like crazy, so I'm going to say it's after the Koji comp. It doesn't really matter. It's somewhere in the chain, and it just interrupts the signal on the big board. And it's obviously before the Mobius because it's a mono system, not a stereo one. Now, the Big Sky then is a multifunction reverb. You heard it in several settings. At the start I had it on a short spring. I didn't use it on my usual studio reverb, room reverb, but I use this quite a lot, which is very subtle. Yeah, very simple effect. If I was using reverb live, most of the time I'd use that kind of reverb unless I was looking for a specific effect. The third one I've got in this first bank is not a reverb at all, it's a delay, and it's a slapback. And it's just a very quick slapback, so if I'm playing a kind of country thing, or any kind of rock and roll has the right kind of vibe for that. And then I have a plate. Another spring, a bit more fizzy sounding. I'm not the biggest fan of spring reverb in the world, just haven't found anything particularly to replace that slot. And then a kind of cavernous but not too bright so it doesn't get in the way. And at one point in the intro I also switched over to a cheesy orchestral shimmer. Just because why not? They tend to be the general sounds I use. Finally on this board is my Ditto X2 looper. You'll have noticed in a couple of videos I've shot in the last couple of days that I've been looping on the timeline. A couple of problems with that. One being that because it's before the amps, as you play more and more into the amps, because they're kind of edgy breakup, you get more and more overdriven, which means if you want a clear loop sound but overdrive, then it's going to be fighting with each other and you're not going to get the best results. Obviously if I had the timeline in the loop I wouldn't have that issue, but that would again require me to lug extra cables around, and for how little looping I do in a kind of live environment, it works. And the other big limitation of the timeline looper is that it's limited to 30 seconds, I think it is, which doesn't sound like too short until you try playing a sort of medium slow 12-bar blues into it and you get 3/4 of the way through bar 10 and it starts again, which I've done a few times and it's really annoying. So it's okay for little short things, little 8-bar up-tempo things or whatever, but it has its limitations, whereas a dedicated looper is just so much more useful. It also has cool reverse and half speed functions which I almost never use, but it's nice to have them there if I want. And I can also control the level of the loop, which is a big advantage over the timeline, which I believe you can, but I don't know how. I should probably read the manual. Anyway, so that's it. It's very simple. It's just powered with a Siox Adam Link power supply which fits underneath, and it works. Okay, hope that was of interest. Short video this time, but until next time, take care and I'll speak to you soon.